I was really shocked to hear about this on the news this week, that there was a recall on the Freestyle Libre 3 sensors and that there have been deaths and many injuries associated with the Freestyle Libre CGM sensor not working correctly. I was surprised because I subscribe to several diabetes newsletters and they did not have this news. Instead, I heard it on my evening news and I had to research it and then share it with you because this is such a critical thing. I have diabetes. I depend on insulin for my diabetes. And it's clear that some of the people delivering this news, they do not understand how these sensors work or how this can cause injury or death. People with diabetes that use insulin, that need insulin to stay alive, they have to figure out how to dose that insulin. And dosing insulin is extremely tricky. Too much insulin, you can get low blood sugar, you can pass out, go unconscious, even die. Not enough insulin over time causes severe problems and can even lead to DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis, and death. So both too little or too much insulin can cause severe health consequences. Oh my, this is not good news. Fortunately, it's only a small subset of the sensors out there, but over 700 injuries. So to find out if your freestyle sensor, if it's affected, there's a website you can go to, freestylecheck.com, and you can look up the serial number and see if the sensors you have, if they have been recalled. And I believe the company will replace the freestyle sensors that were recalled. On freestylecheck.com, Abbott says Libre 3 and Libre 3 Plus sensor users reported situations where they received incorrect low glucose readings. Visit freestylecheck.com to check the serial number to see if the CGM you have is affected by this recall. Abbott, who makes Freestyle, recommends this. They say use a blood glucose meter or the built-in meter in your Freestyle Libre 3 reader to make treatment decisions when your sensor readings don't match your symptoms or expectations. It is always good to check that your CGM is working correctly. I do this myself. I use a different CGM. I use the Guardian CGM from Medtronic, and when I get a reading that is not expected, I do double check it. However, the problem is some people have hypoglycemia on awareness, meaning they can feel perfectly fine and actually have severe low blood sugar. How much individuals can actually sense their current blood sugar and tell whether it's low or high is really varies individually from person to person. People with diabetes that need to give themselves insulin to survive, they use these continuous glucose monitors, these CGMs, such as the Freestyle Libre CGM, for a couple of different reasons. One is it can alert you that you're going to get low blood sugar or that you have high blood sugar, and it can let you know. So if you don't feel the low blood sugar, it's great to have something tell you about it. But if it's not working correctly, then that really doesn't work well. People who have type 1 diabetes or any kind of diabetes where they require insulin because their body is not making enough insulin or is not using that insulin correctly, they have to either give themselves insulin shots or use an insulin pump. And it's really tricky to get the dosage right. So we rely on medical devices, CGMs, to figure out how much insulin to give ourselves. We also rely on these devices to alert us when we have low blood sugar, or ideally before we get low blood sugar, so we don't feel terrible. So it's a really big problem if the CGM is not working, and it can be life-threatening. So yeah, it's a real hassle if you have to always double check, is your CGM working, by doing a blood test. So this is really disappointing news about this recall, and I really hope it doesn't happen again. Lots of companies with medical equipment have recalls, but hopefully those recalls happen before anybody is injured or dies from it, as a preventative thing. Oh, we see that there could be an issue, and so we're going to recall it because it's so critically important for safety. Seeing a company do a recall is not always a bad thing. It means they're on top of stuff, but it's extremely disappointing and scary when it happens after people have already been injured. I don't think people who don't have type 1 diabetes understand how tricky it is to get the insulin dosage correct and how dangerous too much or too little insulin can be. It's not just about seeing, is your blood sugar spiking from the food you ate? No, it's about life or death, making sure that you get the right insulin to stay alive, and that you don't get too low blood sugar, too high blood sugar. Anyway, yeah, so Freestyle Libre 3, there's been a recall. I did a Google search for this, and actually a previous recall came up before where this most recent recall, it was erroneously a high reading. Previously, it was a recall because it was an erroneous low reading. Both are major issues potentially. And sometimes people use the CGM with their insulin pump. It's very common to have automation where the insulin pump adjusts the insulin dosage automatically. And therefore, this is even a more critical problem, right? Because you're trusting the automation to get it right. And that means that the CGM has to be accurate. Have you had any problems? Are you affected by this? Please comment. If this was helpful, I really appreciate a like. And subscribe for more diabetes news and diabetes information. It's a really important topic. We need to talk about it more. Thank you.